Tola had always wanted a place of her own. Not too big, not too expensive, just quiet, clean and safe. So when she found a 2-room apartment in the heart of Ogudu, tucked between a row of silent homes and overgrown hedges, she thought, this is it. The agent, a middle-aged man with a belly that entered rooms before he did, handed her 2 silver keys. "One's for you," he said, wiping sweat from his brow. "Keep the extra somewhere safe." She nodded. Felt like a new beginning. The first few weeks were peaceful. Tola spent her evenings unpacking, lighting vanilla-scented candles, and falling asleep to the hum of her standing fan. But then, small things started to feel off. It began one Tuesday morning. She woke up and noticed her slippers weren't where she left them, just slightly turned like someone had worn them. She laughed it off, blaming her half-asleep shuffle to the bathroom the night before. A few days later, she came home to find the tap in the kitchen dripping. Not fully on, just dripping. Did I forget to tighten it? She wondered. Again she brushed it aside. Then came the night she opened the fridge and realized the light inside wasn't working. Nothing major, until she reached into the cupboard and noticed the jar of peanut butter was open. Slightly. She hadn't touched it in a week. Now she was starting to feel uneasy. That weekend, Tola decided to do a full cleaning. She moved the furniture, dusted the corners, and rearranged her drawers. That's when she noticed it. The spare key, the one the agent gave her, which she had hidden inside her underwear drawer, was gone. She checked twice, 3 times, tore apart every drawer, emptied her laundry basket, even checked her handbag and under the bed. Her heart began to pound. Not fast, heavy. Like something she didn't want to believe was suddenly undeniable. Someone had been inside her apartment. She didn't tell anyone right away. Not her friend Zainab. Not even her cousin who lived a few streets away. She didn't want to sound paranoid. Maybe she had misplaced the key. But that night, she pushed a chair against her front door before going to bed. And still, she didn't sleep. The next morning there was a text message waiting on her phone. No contact. No name. Just a single line. "You should really start locking your windows too." Tola didn't leave her house the next day. She sat in her living room, phone in her hand, rereading the message over and over. "You should really start locking your windows too." The windows. She got up quickly, checked each one. They were closed but not locked. She hadn't even thought about them before. Who would? The apartment was on the 2nd floor. You'd need a ladder or wings to get in. Still, she locked every window, then closed all the curtains. And for the first time since moving in, she felt like the house wasn't hers. By afternoon, she called Zainab. She didn't want to sound crazy. But when she explained everything, missing key, moved items, the message, Zainab didn't laugh. Instead, she said, "Tola, do you think someone's been watching you?" Tola's silence was enough answer. Zainab came over the next morning, bringing something she borrowed from her cousin, a tiny motion-sensitive security camera, disguised as a USB charger. They plugged it in near the kitchen window. Another one faced the living room. Tola set the camera app on her phone. Zainab left. Tola went to work. And all day she felt watched. That night she reviewed the footage. Nothing at first. Just the quiet room, the hum of the fridge, the ticking wall clock. She fast-forwarded. And movement. Hand. Figure. Someone slipping in through the living room door. Slowly. Casually. Like they'd done it 100 times before. Tola's heart skipped. The figure never looked at the camera, but moved with practiced ease. Walked into the kitchen, opened the fridge, drank water straight from the bottle. Then the person turned. And for a fraction of a second, the side of their face caught the light. Tola froze. It was familiar. Not a stranger. She took screenshots, sent them to Zainab. "Do you know this face?" Zainab didn't reply right away. Then her message came in. "Tola, that's Emeka. Your ex's cousin. From Festac." Tola blinked. Emeka. He had lived in the city for a while. But how? Why? She suddenly remembered. He had once worked with a moving company. Could he have had access to this apartment before? The next morning she went straight to the agent. Did someone live here before me? She asked, arms folded. The man looked uncomfortable. Madam, yes. But he moved out months ago. Did he return the keys? Wet. Nervous chuckle. I'm not sure. Tola didn't believe a word. That night she moved the cameras. This time, one pointed at her bedroom door. Another directly at the front entrance. And just before dawn, her phone buzzed with a motion alert. He sat up. Play. The camera showed someone unlocking her door. Slowly, carefully, a hoodie over their head. They stepped inside, closed the door, walked straight toward her bedroom. Then they looked into the camera. Dead into it. The video cut. Her phone buzzed again. A new message. Camera won't save you, Tola. Tola's mind raced as she stared at the message on her phone. Camera won't save you, Tola. Her hands trembled. Was this a prank? Or had someone really been inside her apartment, watching her every move? She grabbed the phone, pacing back and forth in the dim light of her living room. The silence of her apartment felt suffocating, like the walls were closing in on her. Her eyes darted to the front door, locked. The window locked. Her gaze then fell on the drawer where she kept the spare key. The one that had gone missing days ago. She rushed over and pulled it open again, heart pounding in her chest. But still, the key was gone. Zainab wasn't answering her phone, no matter how many times Tola tried. Panic was creeping in, tightening around her chest. She couldn't do this alone. She needed help. Her mind raced back to the email she'd received earlier. Her landlord's email. She'd forgotten about it, buried under the stress of everything else. Tola opened it again. Tola, I've been trying to reach you. There's something you need to know about your apartment. It was previously leased out to Emeka before you moved in. He was evicted after multiple complaints about his strange behavior. I urge you to change the locks as soon as possible. Tola's stomach dropped. She read the email over and over. Emeka. Why didn't the agent tell her about this? Her phone buzzed again, bringing her back to the present. Another notification. This time it wasn't a text. It was an email. From Zainab. Tola, I've been trying to call you. You need to leave the apartment now. Emeka has been living in the building since you moved in. He's been watching you. I've known about him for a while, but I thought you were safe. Change the locks. Don't trust anyone there. Tola's blood turned to ice. Living in the building. But she hadn't seen him in days. How had he been getting in? How long had this been going on? A knock at the door jolted her out of her thoughts. Soft at first. Hesitant. She froze. Then louder, more insistent. Who is it? She called, trying to keep her voice steady. No answer. Only heavy breathing. A presence on the other side. Her mind raced. Is it him? Is he here? She grabbed a kitchen knife, her fingers trembling as she moved toward the door. She pressed her ear against it, barely breathing. Another knock. The phone buzzed again. A new notification, a video. Her pulse quickened. It was live footage. Direct feed. The video showed her standing by the door, knife in hand. And just beyond her, barely in view, was a figure standing in the hallway. Emeka. The figure raised his hand slowly, and in his fingers dangled the spare key. It swayed gently, as if in rhythm with her pounding heart. Tola's breath caught in her throat. This was it. This was real. He had a key. He had been in her apartment with shaky hands. She typed out a text to Zainab. I see him. What do I do? But Zainab didn't respond. The text was unread. The door began to creak open. Not fast but slow, deliberate. A shadow moved into the room, its form growing more distinct with each passing second. Emeka stepped forward. He didn't say a word. He didn't have to. The door was open now, just wide enough for him to slip through. And that's when Tola realized the truth she had been too scared to face. The extra key. It wasn't a coincidence. The camera. A warning. The real danger hadn't been in her apartment. It was right next door.